Hey everybody, good morning and happy Sunday. So you can see the title of the video. So we're going to be talking about Beyond Meat for those of you who haven't experienced it, or maybe you have. But before we get started, I like to talk about, why I'm qualified to talk about these kind of things. So those of you, many of you may know, I had been in the hospital years ago, and it was years after that I actually found out about the idea of using food as medicine, and it just gave me a lot of confidence and the strength to do the things I had to do for recovery. And yes, I'm not fully recovered, but it's something that I really rely on, and that gives me a lot of hope for that what I can accomplish in the future. So along the way, I became a health coach to, because when I went through my whole journey, it was more of I just stumbled through it. And so I wanted to become a health coach to help people make that transition a lot easier, from, whether when changing your diet, or, whether it's overcoming a symptom or illness, or just becoming the healthiest version of yourself that you can be. So, and I also found out during this journey that as a health coach, that just how powerful and easy nutrition really is, even though some people like to overcomplicate it. So I just like to share this message with as many people as I possibly can, so that, a lot of the diseases and stuff that people deal with, doesn't even have to happen. I mean, there are ways with a healthy enough lifestyle to overcome a lot of diseases and reverse them, but if we didn't have to deal with them in the first place, wouldn't that be even better? So that's why I do what I do. So yeah, so back to the topic at hand of Beyond Meat. So for those of you who don't know, that's a product. And so, let me just back up again. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about different products and different kinds of things. We talked about plant milks and then tofu, and now we're going to talk about Beyond Meat. And if there's anything that you want me to cover, I'm not really sure if I want to keep going with this or if I want to just go back to like normal topics. But if there's anything you want me to cover specifically, let me know, either in a comment or a message, and I'll be happy to cover that so that it can be as useful to you as possible. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at some notes. So the idea of using Beyond Meat, so that is a meat substitute that's completely made of plants, but you can use it in a recipe in place of meat. So this company makes sausages, hamburgers, grounds, which are like ground meat, like in a block form. So, yeah, but it was kind of like off-putting actually to my husband and I as vegans, because in the beginning, I mean, it tastes delicious, but just in the beginning, it was a little strange because it, just like meat, it's pink in the beginning, and then as you cook it, it browns. So yeah, it was just a little strange, like in the beginning for us. There's also a product called Impossible Meat. We don't actually use that. They have a lot of GMO ingredients in it, which are pretty much lab created ingredients, and then they, you know, inject them, or, kind of force them into like the genetic material of the product. So we chose not to be a chemistry experiment. I don't know, like some people think that GMOs are the worst thing ever, and some people think that they are harmless. So I'm not really sure, and there aren't really long-term studies yet that prove either one. So we just choose not to be a chemistry experiment for ourselves. So that's why we choose Beyond Meat instead of the Impossible Meat. But that is on the market as well. What else did I want to say about this? Oh, so Beyond Meat is meant to make the transition easier. Like if you are changing to a plant-based diet, it just makes the transition a lot easier. A lot of people like to complain that it's not as healthy as other products could be, like tofu that we talked about last week, for instance, or more whole food plant-based type products, which is fine. But at the same time, when you go from eating meat, you want something to kind of, get you through that middle portion until you can go to that. So some people like to complain that it's not as healthy as whole foods, and sure, that's true. But it's becoming healthier gradually over time because of those complaints. And also, they've even shown in studies that it's a lot healthier than meat. Just because you're not getting a lot of the things that you normally get in meat, like the saturated fats and different like cholesterol and things like that, and you're not getting that, so it's a lot healthier. So for us, we just have it like probably like once or twice a month, kind of as a treat, kind of an ingredient. But if you use it more than that, go for it. The biggest thing I always say is don't try not to get stuck on something like a transition food. Use it for what you need it for, and then kind of move on. So like for instance, we use Beyond products like if we go to like a barbecue or something in the summer and, we need like burgers or there are different kinds of hot dogs that are plant-based, we'll use something like that. Or if there's like, if we just feel like having something that's kind of more of a meaty recipe, then we'll just go ahead and use that. But, we don't really just rely on it. So yeah, so just try not to like try to use it as a transition and keep transitioning, like try not to get stuck so much. So that's all about that. But yeah, it's definitely a lot healthier than meat. So go ahead and use it as much as you need to. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, I'm on a lot of different social platforms. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments or message me. We have our One Simple Change page with the longs. That's our Facebook group. So I definitely encourage you to join that if you haven't. And whether you're watching this live or on replay, go ahead and share anything. Like if this video makes you feel any certain way, or, if you have any experiences with this, or, if you have any specific questions or you want me to cover something in the future, then I definitely encourage all that. So I definitely encourage any interaction like that at all. So, because I want this to be, like I said before, as meaningful and as useful to you as possible. So, yeah, so I think that's about it though. So have a beautiful and colorful day. Bye, everybody.